Hi everyone, welcome back to our 5-year marketing plan for purebred cattle business. In this section, we're going to spend about the next 15 minutes talking about what to do in year 1 of being involved in a new breed in the purebred cattle business. This year is what I would consider your building phase, and so where most people are going to be at in this stage is that they're just getting started. They're buying their foundation stock, they're choosing their foundation bloodlines, and they're really starting from scratch. So from a cattle management standpoint, you have a lot of options in this year. For example, you may start out by getting involved in a breed by buying some older donors and flushing to focus on a few core cow families and get those high-end genetics. You could be buying frozen embryos or flushes, again, to kind of start a more rapid genetic turnover. Or you could be buying open heifers that, are just weaning age that you're going to develop and breed to the bull of your choice at some point. Or you could be doing a combination of all of those. Or you could be buying, animals that are already in production, that are already, ready to go. So whatever option you choose, I want you to just think about the time interval that is going to be associated with that, and understanding that, even though we might be in year 1 or year 2, there's going to be a little bit of a time lag depending on the route that you take and, the track that you put certain cattle on. So in general, what we're talking about here in the first year is the building phase, building your herd and building your name in your breed. So the main things you want to be focused on and marketing at this time is getting active in your breed association and working to meet fellow breeders in your area, and also just learning in general about the breed, because for this year, you're really not going to have anything for sale, so to speak, because you haven't had time enough to get something with your own brand on it and get your cows bred and calve them out and things like that. So this is a foundation year and an investment year, again, where you're going to see a lot of cash outflow, so to speak, and not necessarily much cash inflow because you're in the building stage. So as we've talked about, by this point, we recommend that you have a logo and colors. So let's start out with something fun, which is getting some swag and some merchandise. Why is this important? Well, because if you're new in the breed, as we mentioned, people are going to be curious. They want to know who you are. They want to know who's this new person who's buying cattle and investing in cattle. And so you want to be prepared to get your name out there and tell people your story. So once you have that logo, I suggest definitely getting business cards, maybe decals for your truck, get some caps printed, maybe a jacket, embroider your logo on it so that you have your marketing foundation ready and people can see you and see your brand. Once you have your name, logo, and colors, then it's time to build a website. So a website is going to be your online home base where people can find out about you. This is going to be where you can contain your long form content, your story about how you got started, history of your, involvement in the cattle business, and it allows visitors to get a chance to know you, your business, and your brand. And it's also going to squelch the curiosity about you. So let's just say hypothetically you go out there in year 1 in a sale and you buy the high selling animal, at the Denver Stock Show sale. Well, when the auctioneer announces your name and you're a new breeder, people are going to wonder, who is that? If you hear of a name of a business and you want to know who are they, what's the first thing you do? Google, right? You get out your phone and you search it. So this is why it's really important to build a website and have a website as soon as possible, because people are going to be naturally curious about you, especially if they see you walking around at places with your great new logo on your jacket and things like that, and they're going to want more information. So your website is the source and the answer that gives them that information they want to know. So another really common question I get is, which is better, website or Facebook? They both are great, and they both need to be done really pretty much at the same time. Let's talk a little bit about why both are important. So every year at Ranch House, we conduct our livestock marketing survey, and it goes out to about 1,000 purebred livestock breeders. 83% of the people say that they look at a business website first before buying or when they're doing pre-purchase research on a business. So it goes back to what we were just talking about. If people hear your name and they want to know a little bit about you, most likely they're going to Google you. and a website is going to come up when they Google you. However, from there, 68% of the people then go to Facebook to look to see if you have a Facebook page. So it's really important to actually have both. Between the two, the website is the most important because it's permanent. It allows you to have more information, where a Facebook page is going to be fleeting moments, of scrolling on a news feed. It's really good for those quick top of mind reminders, but a website is better for longevity. So you want to have both. The good thing about a Facebook page is that it's free to set up. So if you're on Facebook already, you could probably set up your own Facebook page in just a few moments. And that's very easy to do. Well, once people have asked which is better, a website or Facebook, then the next most common question they get is, what social media outlets are you on? Currently in agriculture and in the livestock business, Facebook is where it's at. 89% of the ag community in our survey list Facebook is their number one social media network. From there, Instagram is second, followed by Snapchat, then Pinterest, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So what does that tell you as a breeder? Well, if you're going to be in social media, you want to put most of your social media eggs into the Facebook basket. Now, I realize if you're like me and you have preteens or teenagers in the house, they're probably going to tell you that Instagram is the hottest social media outlet, or they're probably going to say only old people are on Facebook. And that may be true to some degree. However, we're still finding that Facebook by far has the most solid buying power of its audience, and is the outlet that you need to be focusing on if you want to get sales conversions. Now, Instagram is great for creating brand awareness. It's great for building a following of a younger audience, which is important to some degree, but our main takeaway here is you definitely need to be on Facebook. And if you feel like you've got Facebook down and you're good at that and you want to add a second social media outlet, then you can bring in Instagram as the second one. So let's talk a little bit more about Facebook pages. These are great for building a community and building a fan base. When we started BRC back in the fall of 2019, we started with a Facebook page of 0. And at the time that I'm recording this, which is about 8 months after the fact, we have over 125,000 followers on Facebook. So we went from 0 to 125K in a 6-month period. And it's great because it allows basically the world to be our client. We do a lot of things like hosting giveaways, sharing links. We do a lot of link shares back to our website to drive people to our website. And a really cool feature that you can use on a Facebook page is Facebook advertising. And the great thing about that is that even a small budget of $5 to $10 in Facebook advertising can go a really long way. So get in there and play around with it, and when I say play around with it, don't go overboard. You don't have to spend $100 or $500 or anything like that. Start small, start with $5, $10, $20 on a boost and see if it's helping you reach that target audience a little bit more. Another common question we get is, how often should you post on Facebook? And believe it or not, there's actually an algorithm for that, because Facebook is all about the algorithms, right? So the frequency of your Facebook page posting coincides with the number of followers you have. So if you are a new page and you have less than 10,000 followers, Facebook recommends that you post 3 to 7 times a week. So you want to put some solid content out there, but you don't want to overwhelm people. However, once you reach the threshold of more than 10,000 followers, then Facebook actually expects you to post more often. They expect you to post at least once a day and even twice a day. However, once you exceed these maximum recommended posts, your post is going to actually be downgraded in the news feed. And so let's just say you're starting out with a Facebook page from scratch for your business, and you're going to be in that less than 10,000 followers category. You may think it's great to post, 20 pictures a day so you can get your name out there. That's actually a mistake. And if you start doing that, Facebook is going to see you as spam, and they're going to take away your post from the news feed. So you want to follow this rule of thumb. And remember that less is more on Facebook, and you want to focus on creating great posts and sharing great pictures that go over well and get good engagement, and not just checking off a box of, well, have I posted something on Facebook today? I need to post something. Talk about quality, or think about quality, and think about what people are going to want to see and what they're going to want to click on. So I love this graphic because, well, it's because my husband and I love him, but I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to this picture as a rancher because we spend a lot of time in this exact position, which is on the farm and ranch looking at your phone, right? I would argue that the phone is quite possibly the most powerful marketing tool, and you have it right there in your back pocket all day long. And if you think about it, you can call, text, chat with people around the world from your cell phone. You can email. You have a high quality camera that's available right there that you can take pictures of anything on your ranch. You pretty much have access to constant Wi-Fi if you can have Wi-Fi at your barn or even Wi-Fi in your truck. I know Brandon has that. So you can do scheduling. You can access all your files from Google Drive or Dropbox or things like that. And you can even take credit cards from that phone. So Brandon has a little square adapter that clicks into his phone, and if he's out there selling bulls and a bull buyer wants to pay with a credit card, he can put that little adapter in, swipe the card right there in the feedlot, and then load out the customer. And it's all done basically from his phone. And if you have your Square integrated with your QuickBooks system, it automatically captures the invoice and the customer information, and boom, you've got the records right there. It is literally amazing. And then I like to share this one because this same dude can also be classified as an Instagram expert, which might be unbelievable because he has no social media experience, honestly. But he took our following from 0 to over 28,000 just because he thought it would be fun to try. So how this worked is that, I don't know if you're a husband and wife or y'all argue or have competitions, but I was talking about all the stuff I was doing on Facebook, and Brandon basically said at one point that he was going to start up an Instagram because he thought Facebook is so easy and he could do Instagram. And I was like, fine, do it. We're not doing much on Instagram. Take it. He had no experience with Instagram whatsoever, but he was open-minded to give it a try, and he made a personal goal to try to post real-life pictures of his day-to-day cattle activities on the ranch and just be real. And so what we found was happening is that his content was very different from the content that I would normally post on Facebook, which is pre-planned, so my posts on Facebook are usually going to be, posed pictures of cattle, perfect imagery, but his content on Instagram was more of like real world stuff that was happening on the ranch, and people loved it. He also started using hashtags and researching them and actually like checking how the pictures performed, and he had goals. He wanted to be the top picture, for hashtag Brahman or hashtag, ranch life or whatever it was. And he did it. He did a great job. And so I share this as an example because I say this with all due respect, but if Brandon can do it, anybody can do it. People just want to see real life. So don't be afraid to get out there and try it and put your brand out there on social media. One important thing about social media is you can use hashtags to help connect and help put your brand out there in front of others. Hashtag cattle is important, hashtag your breed. So it might be hashtag Angus, hashtag Hereford, cows of Instagram, bulls of Instagram is another popular one. And then look within your breed because there's probably going to be some specialized hashtags within that breed that can also be used to promote your new operation. So social and digital media is amazing, but there's one kicker in agriculture that I want to share with you. Print magazines are still super crucial in the cattle business. People love getting those print magazines in the mail. When we asked in our annual survey, how do you learn about livestock sales? Men in the cattle business are still primarily learning about livestock sales through a print magazine. And women in the cattle business, they list Facebook as their number one source of finding about sales, but print magazines is right there, number 2. And so it's really important to advertise in print magazines because that's where a lot of people are still getting their information. Print advertising, while it seems like it's sort of an older form of media, compared to websites or social media, I actually think that it's starting to become new again, and it's almost seen as a status symbol for top producers. So obviously running an ad in your breed publication, it's going to cost you, maybe $1,000 for a full page color ad. And you might argue, well, you just said I could boost a post on Facebook for $5, and yes, there is a big difference between $5 and $1,000. But what we're finding is that people see print advertising as a status symbol, and it tells your client that you care enough about your brand to invest in it. We also find that there's a lot of longevity in print magazines, that 80% of readers keep their magazines for 6 months or more, and some people keep these magazines forever. Brandon has Brahmin journals dating back to I have some dating back to the 1920s. He has some from the 80s to present, And also a really important thing about advertising in your breed publication or your state cattleman's publication is because it fits your target market. So if you want to reach Brahmin breeders, the best outlet for that is the Brahmin Journal, or similarly, Angus Journal, Hereford World, Charolais Journal. And I say breed publications are very important, and your state cattlemen's associations are also very important too. So say, Alabama Cattlemen, Georgia Cattlemen, things like that. It builds your reputation and it gets your name out there in a way that says, I'm seriously legit. Whew, okay, so here we have wrapped up year 1. And I like to think that's a lot of the fun stuff, right? So for me, I definitely feel like year 1 is a super fun year because you're getting to buy a lot of cattle, you're new in the business, and you're doing all this fun stuff, your branding and your promotions and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and I know I've given you a lot to think about. So let's take a little break and we'll pick back up with year 2.